Day 48. Welcome back. All set to talk about balance today. And so in order to do that, let's take the second part of the Tai Chi set. So I spent the last little while doing part 1 and 2 again, trying to cater to new people coming in. And so let's do part 2 so we get a chance to explore that. We'll do a little bit with our topic within Sabre. And then we're going to go back into the Lok Hup. So we get to do that. And again today, I have the oregano singing. And it's raining outside, so it doesn't have sun on it. So it's going to be interesting to see what kinds of sounds come out of it today. So let's just get this here. So we're doing part 2 of the Tai Chi set. And I'll just come from here. So we're going to carry the tiger to the mountain. Let's put in the bow first. So we can just get that started. And this is, we're waiting for everybody, but it's also our opportunity to create flow and balance. Set everything up. Okay, so if we cross the hands, we're going to turn that left toe and then step with the right foot. Brush knee. Lost our music. There it is. This goes whip out horizontal. So we're going to sink back into the right, hold, step, and reach out long. So yesterday we did some work with this, with our tensegrity that went through the biofield. And we played with this. Get a chance to go back and explore this one. So here's number 5. And then left grass bird's tail. Hold the ball. Grass bird's tail. I'm just going to move my feet out of the way. So you can still see my hands. And this one is Fair Lady Shuttle. So we're spiraling on the feet. Step with the left foot into the corner and reach out. To the right. Cross the hands and go left. Just going to come back. And reach out. Hi, Charlotte. Just doing the third part of Tai Chi, or second half. So I'm just coming up on move hands like clouds 7 times. So if you want to join in. This is coming back. Whip. Move hands like clouds. Goes to the right. Hi, Jeanette. It's like meeting my peeps here. It's awesome. Whip to one side. Comes back. And reach out. So now we've got a snake. So I'm going to open the right foot, open the left, sink down. Stand up on the left, stand up on the right. Ward off monkey. going to be flying at a slant, into the right, into the left, and then reach out. Step up to raise hands, and we come through. White stork spreads wings. Half a step, push needle to sea bottom. Turn and chop. Deflect, parry, and punch. And then grasp bird's tail. Move hands like clouds. We have 3. High pat on horse. Turn and heel kick. Grasp bird's tail. And snake. And then snake that back into the right, to the left, all the way around. Let that go. Okay, put the bow on the end of that. So that was the second half of Tai Chi. Just for us to have a little bit more practice at that one. And then let's put in Lok Hup. And today, let's do it standing. I just want you to think about our theme today of balance. So as the saber is coming over, the balance that gets created. So yesterday we talked about the tensegrity and the power that was coming through from the bottom and out, which is what we have. When we pull all of that, it creates balance. So at one point on that pyramid, you can have balance. So putting that all together. Okay, so we'll do standing form of saber. If you wish to sit down to do saber, you know it just goes forward and back. And just copy arms. Don't worry about feet. Okay. I'm just trying to think the best place to start. Okay, so we'll put the bow in again. And that is gratitude, which also produces balance for us. and to the right. So your weight is in the right foot. Back is open. It's going up and out. Tailbone is going back. Right hand, left hand is at the bottom. And out. Up to the left. Back. And then pushing that to the front. Let that go. It's going to come around through the middle, over the top, and down. Over. And into the corner. Changing hands. Heel kick. Comes up. Strike the tiger. Opening the back. Strike the tiger. Turn, heel kick. Let that roll back. And then spiraling into the right foot, spiral with the left, spiral with the right, sink. Two hands. And you're stepping patois. And then put the bow on the end. Perfect. Okay, so we've got that piece done. So let's talk a little bit about the idea of balance. So first of all, you've got balance that happens in the feet. That's where most people will think about balance. And they'll think about, they need to do an exercise program to practice balance. Balance is how the proprioceptive system, the inner ear up in the soft palate here, orients in space. If the cranial bones are locked, then it's going to hold, and it's going to be hard to find balance in there. So this has to all be nice and soft and nourished. The joints all have to be open in order for information to be received between brain and body, and that comes through the softness that happens in the feet. So yesterday, I believe, we talked about standing on the feet. Many times we've talked about it. 5 pads of the toes should be engaged, should be equally felt on the floor. Big ball on the inside of the foot, the big ball by the big toe, little ball by the little toe, those should be equal on the floor. The outside edge of the foot and the heel should all completely be connected. Okay, so now if all of that is connected, then balance is in there. But balance is only there if all the joints are relaxed, this is relaxed, this is relaxed, and the system can work. Eyes can move freely, your breath nice and deep and full, okay? And palate is all good. That means enough water in the system, and then we have balance that can happen. So now you're down into those feet. You can feel how everything is working. You can feel your lower back open and close, just with that little tiny bit of bounce. Okay, so that'll be the first place that people will think about balance. Then some people will think, I need to practice balance. So if I'm going to practice balance, I'll stand on one foot and I'll stand on the other foot. What that means is you're asking one side of the body to balance for you, and it's going to have to rearrange everything because this other side is no longer engaged. So now people will go, I'm practicing my balance. But that's not actually what you were looking for. You were looking for, how can I open all those joints? How can I stay completely in my space? And then you don't have to practice balance, because balance knows where it is in space, and you open everything up. It's just completely there. But if you go to practice balance, you're going to shift the weight over. Most people will lock their knee, lock their hip. They're going to be like, well, here it comes. I've got to practice my balance. And there you go. Okay? And it's down, locked, relaxed, open. Let everything be. Move body parts wherever you want. It doesn't matter, because the balance is already created. Okay, so now that I've shown you that, let's take what we did 2 days ago with the Zongding. And that was how you navigate around that core piece in the center of the body, where the spine is coming down, and how you work through the waist. That creates balance, and it creates a balance that goes from the foot. And if I'm going to do a Toyu, all the way through, comes right through that center core, comes right out the top of the head. And now you have a balance that goes from head to toe, where there's an expansion, that everything is linked together, and a contraction where it comes apart. Okay? So what I'd like you to do, I'm just going to take the sweater off, and what I'd like you to do is grab your saber, or your wooden spoon, or your wrapping paper, roll, whatever it is you're going to use. Okay? And we're just going to use this as part of that. I did this a few weeks back. This is slightly different than a regular Toyu, but the reason I'm going to do this is I want you to imagine balance with it. And that balance, we can take our fingers and find the balancing point on our saber. And what I'm going to do is just balance it between my 2 hands. Here's my Toyu coming forward. Sorry, for those that don't know this. Feet together, turn your left foot 45, sink onto that foot. Perfect balance. Place the foot. Okay? And you're going to push out of the back foot into the front. And this is going to come out. And then you're just going to guide the point of the saber back towards your left hip. And then you're going to guide the hilt of the saber, the end of your your spoon, out. Sink. And now you have a balance. It's coming back and forth between the feet and all of the joints, because they're nice and relaxed. There's information that's shared between, and the tissue is sending information together. So it's a balance. Now these arms are different than the regular Toyu, and the reason I use that is for you to see that figure 8 pattern that comes through, because this is your shoulder and your hip, and then it comes straight, and then it starts the turn. As soon as you put the weight into the foot, there's a change that happens. So this saber is mimicking what the shoulders and the hips are doing. And back. Right. So this is creating a balance in the tissue all the way through the body because you're relaxed. Okay, so I'm going to flip my saber over so then I can have my hilt in the same place and the point in the same place. Okay, so if I go forward, then the point is going to come back. That's my hip. Snap. And there's a piece that wanted a new spot. Okay, comes back. See. And so what we're looking for is a balance that comes back and forth in the tissue, as well as the information that's being shared. I have a little pain in my knee, which tells me I didn't get my alignment quite right. So I'm just going to adjust my hip a little bit. So the cues that your body gives you is telling you when you're not in balance, and obviously. Well, the right knee is the barometer for that, okay, in my case. Coming back. So hopefully that gives you a nice even flow that comes out of that. So that's another way that we can think about balance and think about how everything is open and flowing, and that creates balance. So let's go to our seated to standing Jaryus, because they also create balance. And they create balance in that they get the flow of the 5 elements. So based on 5-element theory, energy flows through the elements: fire, earth, metal, water, wood, and fire. And the nurturing cycle is a circle, comes through the elements. And if we're looking to create or destroy certain kinds of energy, it comes through in a different pattern. But we can do the seated to standing Jaryus, and it'll do everything all at once. We don't have to do anything else except movement. That's why I love it. Okay, so just bring your ankles a little bit back from your knees. And the first one is falling forward into the feet. Since we already worked on opening the joints, there's a nice balance in there. Then you're going to balance onto your feet. And that's engaging the muscles, telling me they don't really want to move. And up to the top, and then sink. Let's do another one. Out. So you got a figure 8 pattern with your hands. And out. And then up. Oh, that was much better than the first one. And out. And up and out. Now we have done these tracing meridians. We've done them with color. We've done them with sound. There are so many ways to use this and celebrate the patterns. I'm just keeping it just to here, just so you can just keep that balance of flow without all the other elements. But you certainly could go back to some of the other recordings and play with them. And in the YouTube videos that were pre-recorded, that's all in there as well. So it's specifically labeled. Okay, and there we are. Okay, so I'm hoping that creates the energy flow the way you want to get the balance coming through all the meridians. So now once the flow is open, there's a balance of energy flow. That's another way to have balance. Okay, so let's leave that. And let's go to Lok Hup, where we've been spending our time. And let's look at some things related to balance that have to do this time with yesterday's topic, intensity. So if I take my little model, and yesterday we were talking about if this piece here was your person and all of these other pieces revolved around it, that was the biofield, then if you extended yourself beyond yourself, so if my person is right here, I need to paint that one. I've got my hand on the person, but if I pull the field out one way, there's going to be a balance that's going to happen with that. Okay, and no matter what you do, everything is affected by that one piece that you change. Everything is affected. And so on the outside of the body yesterday, we talked about that extension coming through the field. So now what we're going to do is figure out where the balance is, maybe equal and opposite in arms, maybe in legs and hands, and we'll just find that within the Lok Hup movements. So we had done turning around, hands went flat, and then we rolled the hands, pulled them back, and then turned the left toe to the 45. Stepping with the right foot, this is a toyu. I'm just going to review the movements. So flat, roll, turn, out, flat, roll, and out. And then this is going to come back. Pass and sink. This came up. Step left. Open the hands. And then this came around. Up. Around. And out. Step back. Out. Pull the hand. Push. Pull. And when we finished, last day was and step and then reach. Okay, so let's play within that topic. So we've turned around, planted, come up, and we have balance. Right here, we have the way you've planted your feet into the floor, totally connected. All the joints are open. You've got expansion at the top of the head. There's the heel of the hand, and it's mimicking your hips and your shoulders. You have a balance that happens right there. Okay, so now you're going to step with your left foot. So your weight is on both feet at the moment, but you're going to shift it into the right foot. And you do that without anybody even knowing you've done it. You just shift. You notice that your lower back is going to let go for you to make the transition, and then you can step. And it's no change of balance, it's just a change of foot that happens. And as you step that, this turns and sinks. Open up the hips, push through the feet, and now your right foot is going to come out because all your weight is on the left. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring that around, touch the toe, up. And as the hands come up, your tailbone starts to go back, and you have a release that's coming through. So everywhere that you go up, you hit that point where we talked about the 4 forces. You come up, there's that moment of pause before everything comes back down again, and that's balance. Okay? So let's try that little piece again and just focus on where you're placing your weight and notice how easy it is to transition from one foot to the other. Okay, so this comes up, weight is on both feet. Shoulders, hips, back, everything. Now, you're sinking down into that right foot so you can place your left foot. And this pushes down. Your weight is in the left. Looks like it's in the right. Looks like it's in the left because you step patois. But it doesn't actually go to the left until you push out of the right. And this comes up. And now it's in the left. You spiral around, still in the left, shifts to the right, touch the toe. This is going to go up, and then there's going to be a sink, which will take you to the next move. Okay, let's try it again. So you have up, sink. Weights in the right, down. Push, comes out of the right into the left. Touch. It helps with that last little bit of the turn. The spiral. Your feet work together to create the opportunities. So even though the weight is in one foot, just where you place and spiral the other foot, and I shouldn't say the foot because it'd be the whole leg, wherever you're doing that little bit, they're still working in tandem. But it isn't that you're going to be standing on both feet at the same time to have balance. You're on one foot. The other foot can manipulate and do whatever because you can do whatever you need to when you have balance. Then you transition the foot and the power is coming out of one side going to the other. But they share it. So even though 30% is coming out of one foot, 70% into the other, and then it goes to 100, there still is a sharing as that next foot gets placed for the next bit. Because you're going to be sinking down into that leg, opening the back, the hip's going to open, and everything is engaged together to make sure you can move to the next spot. Okay, that's a lot different than I need to get my balance, pull everything up, lock it. Okay, here it is. And now parts are not talking to each other because they're stiff. The communication between ankle, foot, knee, and hip completely locked. Now, the arms haven't got a clue where they should go in space because they know where to go in space because of where the foot is. And the information has to come through and open back. Okay, let's try again. Sink. Drop. Push. Now, notice how that right leg is engaged with the left. And then you transfer your weight, and immediately that left foot knows exactly where it wants to place itself for you to continue on with the motion. And then the weight transfers, and the balance is complete. Okay, so let's do it one more time. I'll try to be quiet so you can just kind of experience the whole thing. Just notice inside you there's a lot going on. Hands. You step back, patois, sink. Now we'll just do this little action because then we can talk about it. And I'm out of room. Okay. All right. So you end up, moon touches top of the pine tree, I think it was. Okay, so you have a connection between, really it's between heaven and earth. And you have the structure of the trees in the middle. So you have complete balance because you've connected between heaven and earth. And in that balance, you're completely sustained. And that's just the coolest move to have. Okay, so I'm going to just move it up. then I'm going to step back. And this is going to push from the left foot into the right and open the back. And then that left hand is going to do the spiral and come in. And you know that spiral action is strength. Because every time you spiral, you have more strength coming through the joints and the tissue. Now right here, we have that energy coming in. You've brought it to lower Dan Tien. And this one is engaged out here to make a change. And equal and opposite creates balance. Step. And again, that push through the feet. So you've got 70 in the back, 30 in the front. Right toe has weight on it. And then when you go to move, you just so easily pick up your foot. Step and then push with that front foot. And it brings you back into the right foot. And as you do that, you're sinking down into that. The push of the ball of the foot on the left, one is engaging K1, two is creating that little bit of tension between the tissue, kind of like the elastics on my model, and that tension allows for the next space to let go. Okay, so that's what you're doing with that. Okay, so let's try it from up at the top again. So up here on the left, step patois and block. Okay, so let's pay attention to the back foot. Step patois. When the weight transitions from the front to the back, from the front to the back, from the front to the back, front to the back. Into the table again. Okay. I was thinking my body actually, somebody was watching, it's not really moving all that much, but my back, my lower back, is doing this like a little accordion. It's moving like crazy. But people watching it doesn't look like I'm doing very much. Okay, who did we have? Hey Tanya, good to see you. Okay, so let's go and balance again. Okay, so pine tree. Moon touches the top of the pine tree. Step, lock, sinking back, open the back. Patois, sink. Patois, sink. Patois, sink. Patois, sink. And then if we move from there, this is where the transition goes from that back foot and just steps through. And this is going to be very quick. Okay, pops open those joints, lets the movement happen and like changes things. Okay, when you step, this is going to expand. So if you're thinking balance, you push out of the back foot, the left foot, and then you have equal and opposite coming through the arms. But the equal and opposite isn't just the arms, it's the spiral of the body, the expansion through shoulders and hips, that push off the back foot, and the sink down into the front. So they play together to create balance in the movement. And in order to get to the other movement, which turns to face the other way, you have the balance in it, the turn, that quickness doesn't throw you off, because when you go to do quick, you already have balance. You're already standing there, and nothing has to move. And then let that separate. Okay? So let's go from top of pine tree again. Okay. Let's see if we can give myself a little bit more room. Sit back with your right foot. Block. Step. Sink and drop that. Drop that. Okay, so here we are. That's coming in. And now that balance is going to come in towards the center. Step patois. Now this is going to expand. And there's a spiral that creates the balance. The weight's into the right foot. Step. Step. Kick. push off that back foot, that's going to spiral. Get that in piece. Okay, I hope that gets you a little bit more power within the moves. That leads us to the last part of Lok Hup, which we've practiced several times. We worked it through in many different episodes. So let's go from where we started there this afternoon with the hands doing the turn. We'll walk through that little sequence, and then that'll lead us to the last part. It's amazing. Okay, so flat, sink, drop the tailbone, open the hips. Weight is all on the right side, and you open the foot. Step with the right, and it's to toe you out. And you've got expansion, flat, in, roll, open the back, step, and this is going to come through. Flat, roll, sink, turn, comes through. Now this is going to come back. Turn, turn, sink, comes together, open the back. Okay. I'm just going to back up so I have enough room. Sink into the right foot, step back well with the left, goes down, pushes out of the back foot, push, sink. This is going to come up, balance, step, block. Okay, so now think about those equal and opposites and the balancing action that gets created by that push and pull. One more step. I'll just go into the table. Step. So that's straightforward. You can punch. Turn. All the weight's on the right. Step. Step. You can punch. And then push out. The weight's coming off that right foot, all into the left. Okay. So let's go from there. Let's put the last part on. So you finish here. Then you're going to step right foot. This is where the hands are floating. Morning dove floats across the treetop. So now if you think of balance, that weight is shifting from one foot to the other. There's this beautiful transition through the body. And then this is going to go in the belly. So the belly is doing the movement. And then you step. Right heel goes out. Weight goes down and to the right. Open the back. This time you've got more of an elbow that comes across, which is different than morning dove. Changes where in the back you're going to notice this. Okay, this is the tricky move. Comes from here. Step straight to the back, cross the hands, and we slide into the snake, going down into the right foot. So your hands roll, you push the hands out, heel, toe, that's going to open everything up. The hands sweep around, so you can travel over to your left, and this is going to go palm, palm, turn across, and let that go, and then sink. Right. Okay, so let's do the last little part because it does have many pieces to it. Okay, hold on. I came out of here. Nope, came out of here. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. So this is going to go across. Step with your right foot. And this is morning dove. It's just gliding right across. Now if you think about all those open joints, the weight transferring from foot to foot, noticing what the back and the shoulders are feeling like as it comes through, And now all of that stays relaxed and the belly just starts to move. Step patois, step straight, step patois, step right heel to the corner. That's going to turn, sink, drop open the back, step. And now this is going to come across elbow. Step across, elbow, step across. Okay, step your right foot to the back, cross the hands, slide down into the snake, left heel goes down, that opens the whole side of the leg. You come around, Chi rises to Mount Kunlun, palm goes across, palm goes across, turn across the hands, let that go, and then let that sink. Okay, that gets us the end of Lok Hup. So we walked ourselves through the entire second half. So for those people who are watching today, if you didn't do all that with us, there's a lot of turning that happens in the second part. So I would love to run it through so those people who have walked it through have a chance to actually just do it. So let's try it, see what happens. I know I don't have a lot of space in here, so I may have to just adjust a little. You may have to do the same at your house anyway. Okay, part 2 starts. That right heel. If I'm just thinking balance, I'm just going to keep focusing on that transition from one foot to the other. So we have a right hand and then a left hand. Step patois, this would be the back of the right hand. Step patois, back of the left hand. Step straight, this is going to come out. Wipe the sleeve. You can see how you're just really massaging those feet all the time. Sink. And there's that drop into the right leg, push out of the right leg, hand crosses over, step your foot to the back, hands go side by side, rise up with the palms up, balancing on your toes, sink, push 2 hands out. Turning weights in your right, over to your left. Slide down the leg on the right. Goes across. Sink down into the left. Step and turn. And here's a balancing act. Step backwards. Step, step straight. Backwards. Step, step. Turn. Sink. Now this is going to go to the right, step patois, or step in with the left, spiral back to the left, patois with the right, starts to rise up, patois with the left, begin to roll the hands, step straight with your right, this comes back to the hip, then it comes around, step to the back. Your right hand goes up to the brow, left hand goes out. Now this has balance, push into the right foot, hands change, push into the left, down into the left, push out. Turn, hands go past each other, sink, hands cross, turn the palms, that's going to go out, over to the left, back over to the right, sink. Feet go together. Okay. Then you pull out to the right. Spiral all the way around, your weights in your right foot. Step with your left. Spirals you to the left. Step with your right. The hands are going to roll. Step straight with the left. 2 hands go out. Hold the ball, step with your right foot, and roll the hands out. Step with your your left, hold the ball, hands roll out. Hands back up a bit. Kick your right foot. Step. Left hand is going to pull out from right. Step with your right foot. Reach out. Sink back across the hands. This is a snake. So it's going to roll in. Hands are going to go out. You're on the left foot. Going to roll all the way around. Step, step. Push out. Right brush knee. Flat. This is where we were today. Sink. Open the back. Turn. Flat. Turn. Flat. Turn. This is going to go past. Turn, turn. Sink. This is going to come up. And right here, open everything. Step patois, drops. Push out of that right into the left. Phoenix spreads his wings. Spiral comes around into the right foot. Hands come up. Sink. Drop open the back. Here we go. On top of the pine tree touches the moon, or vice versa. I've forgotten title. Oh. Now, here you go. Equal and opposite. Opening the joints. Sink. Open the back. Sink. Step. You're pushing from one side. Step, step. Push. Step right foot. This goes across. Back. I'm just going to back up a bit. Comes across. And now it's the belly. It's inside. The belly is leading the movements. Step toe heel. Step patois. Step your right foot into the corner. Sink down onto your right foot. And now balancing from one position to the other. So this is coming across more with an elbow. And you're creating from the foot all the way through the body. Turn. Cross, sink, comes up, and across, and across, turn across, let that go, and then let it sink. And that is the end, the second half of Lok Hup. Congratulations. Okay, so I hope you found different ways to think about balance, and then you can think about how that applies in your life, the kind of balance that you've had in your day, the kind of balance you have in relationship, the kind of balance you have with self-care for yourself, self-care for everybody else, and just making sure you take the time. Okay, so I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, I have a little conference, I have a big conference, and we are to have a little hurrah, all the presenters, just before 5 o'clock. So if I am late coming on, that is where I am, just in case something happened in recording and we don't finish and I miss my 5 o'clock here. I will be on, so you might just have to put Facebook on and wait for me to arrive. So I will apologize now. Okay, thank you for being here. Take care.